At some point I started thinking, man, wouldn't it be so cool if in real life we had a compass that would point us to what we really wanted? And then I started thinking, Monica, yes, of course, we already have that. It's called the law of attraction. It works the same way.
So find a way to...
Hello everyone, my name is Monica and welcome to our Lightworker community. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about how Pirates of the Caribbean, the movie franchise, uses the law of attraction in their movies. So for this video to make any sort of sense, you will have had to have seen at least one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, preferably the first one, because that's the one I'm going to mainly talk about. I believe there's at least 4 of them out currently. I have seen all of them at different stages, but I have seen the first one quite a few times as it was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. I don't know if anyone else has come to the same conclusion or if anybody else would even agree with me, or if this is what any of the writers, directors, producers had in mind when they made these movies, but this is just what I came to in my own conclusion because I just love the law of attraction, and to me it just seemed fitting, so I'll explain that right now. So I'd watched the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie not too long ago, and when I was watching it, I had this like strange epiphany and I wrote it down in a journal. And I saw that journal again, which is why I wanted to make a video on this, because it's something that was kind of in the back of my mind. And I had wrote down basically that the compass in all of the movies represents the law of attraction. Let me explain my reasoning. So as I was watching the first movie, I was thinking, like, how cool is it that Jack Sparrow always has this compass that's basically deemed as supernatural or magical or mystical because it doesn't point north, which is what all compasses are supposed to do in order to work. What it does is it points to the thing that you want the most, and then it leads you to that thing. That was kind of the running joke a little bit in the first movie, from what I remember, is people were like, you have a compass that doesn't point north? Like, you make no sense. Like, why would you have this? It's a useless piece of junk.
A compass that doesn't point north?
To a lot of people, it was just like a useless trinket. Like, it didn't make sense why Jack would carry this around, which he used it quite a bit in the movie. I can remember from the other sequels is that that same compass kept coming up over and over again that he would end up using. Sometimes it would get stolen and other people would use it to get what they wanted most at that time. That's another thing. The compass points to what you want most in that moment. So it can change from moment to moment, day to day, depending on what it is that you truly desire. For Jack Sparrow, he used it in the first movie to find, or even we could say attract, the treasure of Cortez, which was the gold coins that were cursed if you took it from the treasure chest. And I believe what the plot of the movie basically was is that he had found Will Turner, who played by Orlando Bloom, and he knew that he was the missing link so to speak, for lifting the curse because they needed his blood because his father was no longer around. So he was going to trade Will in order to get the Black Pearl back, the ship that I think through the whole movie is basically what he's trying to get to. But he goes through all these kind of this roundabout way of bartering and trading and kind of stealing and manipulating to get his way to the becoming the captain of the Black Pearl again. But the essential tool that was used in all of this was the compass, which led him to what he really wanted. But it led him to these certain obstacles or opportunities or circumstances, however you want to look at it, in order to get to the end goal of what he desired most throughout the movie. Second movie, I believe he was trying to find or track the dead man's chest. The next movie was The Fountain of Youth. He was trying to locate that. And then the last movie, he was looking for the Trident of Poseidon. And at some point in one of those movies, I believe there was like an evil character who had Will Turner steal the compass from Jack Sparrow so that he could use it for his own gains. So the origin of how he became in possession of this compass, I believe, was from a voodoo kind of mystic priestess named Tia Dalma, and that's why it's more supernatural or magical.
The compass you barter from me, it cannot lead you to this?
Maybe. Why?
Jack Sparrow does not know what he wants.
And a lot of people didn't believe in the supernatural or that this compass was magical and can work in the way that it does. But Jack Sparrow believed, and he knew the truth behind it, and he wouldn't really talk about it to other people unless they really needed to know or they already knew about how the compass would work. So now that I gave you this overview, if you needed a refresher about the compass and about the movies, at some point I started thinking, man, wouldn't it be so cool if in real life we had a compass that would point us to what we really wanted? And then I started thinking, Monica, yes, of course, we already have that. It's called the law of attraction. It works the same way. But the thing is, with the law of attraction, there isn't an outside tool or trinket or compass that you physically need to have in order to lead you to what your deepest desires are. That tool is already internal. That tool is your heart. I know it always sounds maybe like cliche when people say, oh, just follow your heart, follow your heart. Well, it's true in that instance. That's how the law of attraction works. You start to think about what it is you want. And then when you think about how you want, it invokes a feeling inside of you. And that feeling is within your heart. If you start to trust your heart and you start to trust the universe, the divine being, the higher power, whatever it is, that it will help lead you to what it is that you want most in life, you're going to get it. You also need to take those inspired actions whenever you feel like you need to go a certain path or do a certain thing or take any kind of action in order to get you closer to what it is that you want. And a few ways to spark that emotion, that feeling within your heart, because that's a very key component in law of attraction, is you can't just think about it, you also have to feel as though you already have it, is to think about it in a positive way very often. So for instance, let's say that you really want to move to Florida. When you think about Florida, when you think about anything, it evokes some kind of visual image in your mind. And that visual image will connect to a feeling. So that's why when we watch movies, if we watch a movie with a sad ending, we feel sad. If we watch a funny movie, we feel joyful and laugh. If we watch a romantic movie, we kind of feel like, oh, love, it's so beautiful. All of those pictures, in a sense, evoke a type of emotion, and with the dialogue. Music can do that too. Visuals like pictures, music, words that you read or that you hear from someone else, this all is tied to your emotions. When you begin to follow your intuition and go where your heart leads you to, you're going to get whatever it is that you want. A lot of times we're just so in our head about what's logical, what's analytical, what makes sense, what other people want from us, what society tells us that we should want or we should be, and we don't dare to follow our heart. But that is so important that we actually do that. And that is basically what, in my mind, the compass in the movie represents. Following your heart. And like I said, it takes them through all these brings them to all these people, places, opportunities, circumstances that sometimes they have to figure out or go through, or they have to meet a certain person to go to the next step, or they need the help of somebody to do something else. And all of this stuff along the way is just bringing them to where they want to go. And overall, I would say the reason why people love Jack Sparrow, the character, so much, played by Johnny Depp, is because he seems like a very high vibe character. He's very charismatic, he's very charming, and yes, there are bad qualities, like he is manipulative, he does use people.
You're a hard man to predict.
Me, I'm dishonest. And a dishonest man you can always trust to be dishonest. Honestly.
It always turns out in the end that they make it seem like he kind of did that on purpose to help them for their overall good. They never really make that too clear what his true intentions are, but he does seem very high vibe. He's very happy. He makes a lot of jokes. He doesn't take himself or life too seriously, and that is what really helps too. Like in the movie, It doesn't matter if you're high vibe or not. If you have the compass, it's going to take you where you want to go. But in real life, when you raise your vibration, you can match the frequency of what it is that you want. And law of attraction is basically just like a mirror. We're like in a reality that mirrors to us what we're experiencing internally on a vibrational level. So let's say someone who suffers from very low self-esteem can't really attract things that will make them feel like they have high self-esteem or to give them high self-esteem. They'll keep attracting things that make them feel more like they have low self-esteem. That's because it's not a vibrational match. So anyways, yeah, he's Jack Sparrow, the character, just seems very high vibe. He believes in himself, he believes in his goals, and he believes in accomplishing his goals. I don't think he says that outright, but you can basically tell that from the actions that he takes in the movie. And he does a lot of things that people would just say, oh, he's just lucky. We don't know how he got so lucky. And of course, there's things in the movies that are definitely not realistic in real life, that would not happen, that are just overly out there and dramatized. But I'm just saying, in a sense, that he attracts things and situations and people that work out always in the end for him. And it does just seem like he's just extremely lucky compared to the other characters. But when you look at the other characters too, they're all very serious. Not that it's bad to be serious, but I mean, they're like overly serious. It seems like they have no sense of humor. They don't seem to be as high vibe. And it seems like he can just kind of let go and trust that compass, at least, and his knowledge, his skills, his abilities that he's acquired over the years will get him to his ultimate desire. One more thing I wanted to point out as well is I believe in, I can't remember which movie, but Elizabeth Swann, played by Keira Knightley, Jack Sparrow gives her the compass for a period of time to find Will Turner, because I think he's been kidnapped or something like that. And Jack Sparrow knows that what Elizabeth wants the most is to find Will. And so he lets her guide them to where they need to go.
But this, my compass, is unique.
Unique here having the meaning of broken.
True enough. This compass does not point north.
Where does it point?
It points to the thing you want most in this world.
And I remember at one point she was holding the compass and it was pointing to Jack Sparrow, and she got annoyed. She was like, this thing must not work, because she, on a conscious level, was like, I don't really want Jack Sparrow, I want Will Turner. And I can't remember exactly if they clarified why that happened, if there was some other circumstance, but that's kind of like what our conscious and our subconscious can do. Consciously, on one level, we may be like, wow, I really want this, but subconsciously we're programmed to really want something else, or to want the opposite of that, and it kind of is a block, and it makes it harder to attract what it is that we want. So that's kind of the symbolism in my mind that I got, was that consciously she wanted one thing, subconsciously she wanted another thing, and then there was a conflict, and then she couldn't get to what she wanted consciously. Sometimes you may have to go beneath your consciousness into your subconsciousness, which rules 95% of your life, to figure out what it is that you truly want, or what's blocking what you truly want. The best way that I know how to do that for me is to go into meditation and to set the intention to find out what's blocking me from attracting whatever it is that I'm trying to attract. And it may not happen overnight or in the first few days. It may take a while, but then I usually see signs from the universe that kind of directs me into finding the information about what it is that's blocking me. So that is another thing, is you can set direct intentions. You can ask for help from your guide, from your spirit guides, from your angels, from the universe in general, from your higher self, and ask, what is blocking me from making money? Or what's blocking me from losing weight? Or what's blocking me from getting my dream job? And really, really listen and pay attention to the signs as you go along. That is my video for today. I really hope that made sense in some sort. I feel like everything makes a lot of sense in my head, and I'm trying to regurgitate it into the camera, and I just never really know if it makes a whole lot of sense and that it's clear. Basically, that's what I got from as an adult watching Pirates of the Caribbean versus as a child. I started seeing the symbolism or the synchronicities, at least for me, as to how it ties into what the law of attraction represents. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give a thumbs up for a like. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And then I will see you in the next video. Bye.